So he comes over the line for 2:19.5. And Charlotte, who was slower in both the first and the second sector, but matches him in the third one, barely 2:19. Both of them, I think, are still going to be able to improve that. It's going to be a significant improvement, most likely, and he's into the 2:18s already. That's good. Andres only slightly slower first sector than what Charlotte is just doing, and then both of them purple second sector, 62.2. So they are neck and neck here in these laps. As Andres goes into the pits, so he either made a mistake or he's out of fuel. If she didn't mess up the last sector here, there's a pretty good chance Charlotte will be going in provisional pole. She comes over the line. It's a 18.6, quite good lap. Neither Charlotte nor Andres are leaving the pits again, so this is most likely Charlotte on pole unless Vamos turns out to be really fast now and it's just nails it right off the bat. There seems to be having slight issues with the car sliding out on him as he crosses the line. Is he going to be in front of Frank? And he is. He's in front of Frank by 3/10. I think he's gonna be happy with that, considering that he only had one attempt and the next opponent is 2.7 seconds ahead of him. That would have been difficult to crack. Honking, 5-6 lights. And they're off. See, Andres is getting close to Charlotte, but he's not getting close enough to try a move into here. Or he actually is going for it, goes for a move, goes for significantly more entry speed, and makes the corner easily. So great move there, Charlotte maybe not expecting it. Andres going into P1. Charlotte on 2, Zillert on 3. Vamos a bit hot into the next corner, and Frank manages to be even hotter as Charlotte goes back to the inside. And this could be her closing down on the position. A lot of turning to do there as she was approaching that slight bend that luckily doesn't actually require her to slow down all the way from the inside. Andres close behind, but lost the position again. Great racing. Oh, and Andres hits Charlotte. Is Charlotte going to be out? Charlotte spins out. That's so unfortunate. That is most likely going to be a penalty as Silla tries to go for the move. And it looks like, yeah, he actually made it stick. Super unfortunate for Charlotte, but everything's possible now for Zillert. Andres falling back. I think Andres is going to fall back behind Charlotte here. That's the fair thing to do. That also means that he is likely not going to receive a penalty, provided that he actually loses time overall compared to Charlotte. So this is effectively turning this into a last to first challenge for our two fastest drivers. Good for the action, still quite unfortunate for Charlotte. But now it's in her hands. With the toe, he might try to do something there into the next corner. Because when you brake, you already start to turn in so early into this. It is usually a dangerous attempt, but he makes it through somewhat safely. As again, there's contact. Charlotte's nose was still in there. Andres hadn't quite cleared her at that point, and now Charlotte's coming back, but is on the throttle a bit later. So I assume that Andres will have this. So that's still in front in P1, now with a significantly bigger gap in front of Vamos. And Charlotte goes back to the inside. It looked as if it was a done deal there already, but Andres leaves the door open, but now again with a better exit speed. As Andres stays ahead for the S's. This is going to be a tricky one. His exit speed not significantly better. Vamos moving over. Not making it easy for him. He is defending that, even though they still have 24 minutes left, but Andres preparing him very, very nicely. That was well done. Vamos is actually still kind of there. We'll watch it from Charlotte's perspective. No, he pulls back. So now it's Charlotte's turn. Oh, they are both very slow there. Charlotte has to make sure that Vamos doesn't hit him there. And Zillert in front actually makes a significant mistake. Vamos almost hitting Zillert. And it's Andres and Charlotte back in P1 and P2. Did they make contact there? I think all of them are far enough away from each other so we can look at it in peace. Let's look at what Sillat has been doing. Goes significantly wide there, goes all over the inside, and I assume he has a penalty now. So keep him in mind. You see him approaching there. As Vamos gets closer and closer and closer, was probably just watching Andres and then has to evade, and he manages to evade it quite well. But Andres just able to eke out the odd 10th here and there. He goes slightly wide, more than slightly. And is going to lose track of him again as he almost spins out, goes over the grass, hopefully doesn't hit the wall, he hits it slightly. I think he's having some sort of issue as he doesn't get going again. And Frank goes past. But Sillat is out actually, isn't he? I wasn't watching that, apologies. So whatever issue Sillat was having, was enough for him to decide to drop out. That's a DNF. I think Frank is close enough to do so. Oh, just as we tune in again, they almost hit each other. Again, Charlotte a bit wide here on the throttle early, but this time she just sticks it, goes over the grass. So as he comes out of the final corner, very solid race. Can't say he hasn't made any mistakes, but he made up for it again, going from all the way off the back of the field back to P1, Charlotte coming back home in second. So Vamos over the line for P3, Frank over the line for P4, and then unfortunately Sillat, DNF in P5.